one game away. Blow up. We're playing for something, man. We're playing for something. Just gotta mean something, you. They gotta mean something. Everything you got. Let's finish this.
Do it, fellas.
Let's go.
Let's do it, fellas.
Finish 2 3. 1 2 3.
You ready to make history? Come on now. Yeah. You know there's these two words. And when I say them, people get goosebumps cause they know what happens next. So without further ado,
Free smoke.
look. Scared cause I'm drowning in silence with bad thoughts. These days I don't have nothing to say, man, the bag talks. I put in headphones on my driver. Pull up to the spot and give a good dick and Godiva. I can't lie, I'm uninspired. No more pillow talking about nonsense. I only stick around to put some band-aids on my conscience. I don't know why I feel so bad, nigga. That's what we do, no foundation. We don't build no more, we just screw. Half a bottle of Henny, girl, I'm going with the wind. The same niggas say they happy for me, ain't want me to win. So I'm done on my friends. Don't need help popping Coronas and reminiscing. I just call up Big Bro J and say it's time for venting. If I live forever, I hold this hate for some centuries. You don't know how much I have you doing what it meant to me, but motherfuck all that. I don't even offer up the time to make the call back. Stupid Lodo, if they don't get the picture now, man, I crop them out of the photo. I can't relate to my peers. Been doing this shit for years. I'm motivated by fears. I took the wheel and I steer. My sound not dictated by fuck boys in Atlanta. Stay gifted like this album was ghost written by Santa Bars forever, like they decided to throw me under Slammer. Every song's a hit like they picture me underhanders. I could drop 1,000,000 songs, but they never gon' understand us. Soapbox sermons for niggas never giving chances. Fight our whole lives to get these weak ass advances. Work twice as hard for the shit that they getting handed. And this ain't even nothing we chose, nigga, we branded. Still can't tell why all of these niggas mad at me. I'm trying to get 100 so I can put my team on salary. Give it all to the art, man, I turn my life to a gallery. Man, damn, what a fucked up masterpiece. 1,100 shots and I swear, man, I felt them all. If we ain't even good on our blocks, man, who can we call? Pre-decline state of mind, we broke crabs in the barrel. Got us fighting our folk, man, this shit just a life of peril.
Winning has a price. And leadership has a price.
Well, Dick, here's the deal. I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence, and nobody can hang with my stuff. I'm just a big, hairy American winning machine. If you ain't first, you're last.
Welcome back to another episode of Kicking It with Saint. It's been a minute. It was a long off season, a very long off season for the kid. But we are back. The NFL season is starting soon. It's starting to round into shape, as they say. So we got a lot to talk about. Lamar Jackson is in the headlines. It seems like Lamar always in the headlines. Not by his choosing or by his doing, but he always in the headlines for some reason. I feel like we might have to talk about it. Dak Prescott has been talked about in the headlines lately. Cowboys issues. CeeDee Lamb not showing up to training camp because he ain't got his new contract. Hassan Reddick not showing up for training camp for the Jets because he haven't got his new contract. Aaron Rodgers and some of the unnecessary shit he be talking about. We got a lot to talk about. Team USA, men's basketball and the women, are currently in Paris, competing in the Olympics, which kick off on the 26th of this month. So it's a lot going on in the sports world, and I just haven't been here. I've been missing it. And in business, they would say I've been making poor business decisions lately. A lot of the different big sports shows on YouTube been on break. This would have been a perfect opportunity for me to start pumping out content to pull in more viewers, and I did not do that. That's on me, though. That's on me. A life lesson. Don't be like Saint. Saint's a dumbass at times, aren't we all? But we got a lot to talk about. I hope you had a dope day, dope afternoon, dope night, whichever point in time you're listening to the show. I appreciate you for being here. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you decided to stop by and kick it with me. And I truly do appreciate you for that. We got a lot to get into today, but tonight, because I'm recording this at night, we got a lot to get into tonight. And at some point in time, I plan on starting a whole new show, Saint in the Morning, where I'll have shows uploaded early in the mornings. So like people going to work, you might be getting ready for work or just getting off work. And I know usually when people tell me they get off work, that's when they listen to the normal show, Kicking It with Saint. But, sometimes people might get up early. They might already listen to the previous episode. They want something new to listen to, or maybe the new episode is that morning episode and they want to listen to that one, and they'll check out the night when that one drops. We're trying to get on a steady schedule over here at Saints World. But I do truly appreciate you for being here. We got to talk about the Olympics. I want to talk about the Olympics at least. And, on the show, we usually talk about the things going on in the sports world. But more importantly, we talk about the shit that I want to talk about. And maybe you'll enjoy that. But listen, if you don't, I'm truly sorry to hear that. Anyways, Team USA. A lot of talk around Team USA. Close wins in the last couple games. It doesn't bother me, but, I can see why a lot of different people in the media have talked about it. A lot of different things surrounding Team USA, too, that's not even pertaining to how they play, like the Jaylen Brown situation, Kawhi Leonard leaving the team. I know these stories is pretty old, or like a week, 2 weeks old a piece, but we're going to talk about it. I'm not going to lie to you. I expected Kawhi Leonard to leave Team USA. The more and more I saw the practices and the pictures and things like that, I was like, man, I can't believe Kawhi really finna play for Team USA. Like, at any moment, I had figured Kawhi wouldn't play for Team USA. For the simple reason, it was just hard for me to believe that he would be okay not playing in the playoffs for the Clippers, the team that pay him and that employs him, but he would be fine with playing in the Olympics. And that's not even like, I know it's fans out there, Clipper fans that's like, and media members who like, he playing for the USA team, but he won't play for the Clippers, but he couldn't play for the Clippers. And they'll have a big problem with that. And I'm not saying that's how Kawhi approached this. I'm saying I feel as though he made this decision, not because of how fans would react to it, just because in his own personal opinion, it's like, yo, I couldn't play last year to compete for a championship in the playoffs when my team needed me the most. I'm going to use this offseason while I'm healthy to try my best to get into as best shape as possible to be able to make it through a playoff season, like not just the regular season, through the playoffs also. So just from the outside looking in, I always expected Kawhi would not play for Team USA. And if he did, I didn't think he would play big minutes. But then I kept thinking to myself, why would you have Kawhi on the team if he's not going to play big minutes? And to be completely honest, when he was announced to be on the team, everybody was making a big deal about who made the team, who didn't make the team. The only thing that shocked me about Team USA's roster was that Kawhi made the team. Because I didn't think that somebody who was coming off of a playoff injury, like he couldn't play throughout the playoffs. So I'm like, there's no way Kawhi would make the team. But I guess just that honor to be named a Team USA member, even if you have to give up your spot, is more important that you was named to Team USA rather than, giving up the spot is just like, I guess he always knew he was giving up the spot. It's just more important to have been named to Team USA. And I get that. I understand the average fan or fans don't care about something like that. But for Kawhi Leonard, when he go back and look at his career, to say that he was named to Team USA, I'm pretty sure that's important for him, or it matters to him. Like, I think fans, I know fans oftentimes care too much about how something make them feel, how things make them feel, not realizing that these athletes are human. So it's not always about you. It's about the employee that's out there putting their bodies on the line. So to me, I get it if he just wanted that nomination or wanted to be selected to Team USA. But I have no problem with Kawhi Leonard not playing for Team USA. And I also don't look at it as, while I agree with the sentiment of he didn't play in the playoffs, so, he shouldn't be playing for Team. I don't agree with that. Just because he didn't play in the playoffs does not mean he shouldn't be allowed to play for Team USA. And obviously Team USA felt the same way. But I do agree with the sentiment of he didn't play in the playoffs, and he personally feels like he has an obligation to the Clippers. Even though I told you multiple times, if a player is showing up and working hard to do their job to the best of their ability, then I cannot have a problem with them, even if that player is constantly hurt, because they cannot do anything about getting hurt. It's just, I know people want to think that players can work out extra hard to not get hurt. JJ Watt was a workout warrior, always hurt. It's nothing that can prevent you from being hurt except for not playing at this point. So it's just hard for me to be mad. Now, while I'll talk about the career in context of they got hurt a lot, them being hurt is not finna, like, that can't be, how do I say it? A player getting hurt, like Kawhi Leonard, to me, I can't be mad at Kawhi Leonard for being hurt all these years because it's not like Kawhi Leonard purposely was getting hurt. Not to mention, people bitch about him being hurt, but also bitch about him taking games off to make sure he maintain his health. Do you see why I hate NBA fans or fans in general of sports? Because this crazy sensation, this stand culture, like, I don't get it. Fans seem to be moronic in the head. Like, how can you be mad at a player for being hurt, but in the same breath also be mad because they take load management, because they do load management? Mind you, Popovich is the one who started it, but the players are the ones paying for it. It's like I often say about the WWE. Listening to fans is the quickest way to ruin a product because fans don't know what they want. In the WWE, fans love to get behind lovable losers. But as soon as that lovable loser become a winner, they are no longer lovable because fans don't see themselves through a winner. They like to relate to the loser, who they feel like is being done dirty, who is having to take back seats to other people who are probably better than them. But the lovable loser don't look at it that way. I mean, the fan don't look at it that way because they like, I done had to take lesser than positions in my job. And because humans don't take accountability for their own actions, they usually blame it on somebody else. I'm better than such and such, and they got a position over me. It don't matter if such and such is more on time for work, show up when needed, stay late when needed. That other person, all they think of is when I come to work, I do my job right. Well, this other person do their job right, and they go above and beyond. And sometimes that's going to get you ahead. Sometimes. But WWE fans don't understand that. They always think that a lovable loser should always be at the top. And as soon as they get to the top, whether it be a man or a woman, you start to hate them. That's why I hate WWE fans. They ruin the product. And then you got a goofball like Triple H who listen to every dumbass opinion that they have. This man ruined a phenomenal match I've been waiting my whole life to see, The Rock versus. People get mad when I say versus sometimes, even though that's a word. But Rock v. Roman and Charlotte v. Bianca. I don't know if we'll ever get those matches because of this buffoon Triple H. But I'm not here to talk about WWE. That's neither here nor there. Nonetheless, fans are very much irritating. And I want to say that R word. I ain't gonna lie to you. I really want to drop that R word. Because I just don't understand this I want my players to play all the time, but I'm a bitch when they get hurt. And I'm a bitch when they take load management to not get hurt. And I want them to play in the most important times of the, which is the playoffs. But I also want them to play in meaningless games in the season because I paid a ticket to go see. The entitlement and buffoonery of fans is staggering to me. You know how people get on Twitter and they see something stupid and they be like, this has to be studied. I think fans need to be studied because fans are a bunch of fucking idiots. And I'm not a pro athlete. I'm not rich. This is an average Joe, a normal person telling you this. Fans are disgusting. But another thing that has been happening with Team USA. So that's the Kawhi situation wrapped up in a bow, basically. I understand why Kawhi Leonard chose to step away from Team USA and focus on getting healthy for the Clippers season. I'm excited to see the Clippers new arena, how it looked decked out. I'm glad the Clippers chose a new logo. I think they chose a new color scheme, but I'm not for sure. I really wish they would go all out on a different color scheme. Like, I think the dark red and the dark blue is just a hideous color scheme at this point. I'm tired of seeing it. The red, blue, and white like an American flag. Like, there's no disrespect to the American flag, but seeing that color combination is very old at this point, especially when it's really nothing exciting that you're doing with the jerseys. And I think the Clippers' old logo is hideous. I think that the jerseys are hideous. The new logo, I got to relook at that new logo to make sure I actually like it. But I think when I saw it, I liked it. But I really do wish they changed to a different color scheme. I also don't understand why they moved across from the old form where the old Lakers used to win their titles and became the Lakers. That's confusing to me because I would imagine a lot of people in that area of Inglewood grew up Laker fans. So it's not, I understand putting an arena, getting your own arena, and it looked like a beautiful arena from the pictures. I don't understand moving it to Inglewood right across from the old Forum. You moved out of the Lakers basement, but then you moved to the other city or the other place that they still own, basically, because they got Laker fans all through Inglewood. Now, I'm not saying that it's no Clipper fans there. That's not what I'm saying. But as Paul George so eloquently said himself, it's the they make you feel like that's the B tier team. And it is. I wouldn't even call it a B tier team, bro. I'd call it the D tier team because there's a lot of other teams in California that people fuck with over the Clippers. And I don't even live in California. I ain't never stepped foot a day in my life in Cali. I just been a Laker fan my whole life. I also want to say something real quick because I saw something on Twitter before I got on here. Jason Temp, he have a show called Hoops Tonight. And I saw a clip where he said he thought the best team he had seen since the 18 Warriors were the bubble Lakers. That's just an outrageous statement. And this is why I constantly say, if you hate Laker fans, just take a second to analyze the person that is saying the comments that make you hate Laker fans. As a Laker fan my whole life, I understand there's a lot of people who don't like the Lakers. I get that. But it's people who don't like the Lakers right now because of things that have been said by Laker fans. But what you don't understand is those are not Laker fans. Those are LeBron stans. They follow him wherever he go. Jason Timpf done said it multiple times. He is a LeBron James fan. He is a stan of LeBron James. It is what it is. You know something that I noticed when people talk about LeBron, they find a way, Bron stans find a way to put LeBron in every single conversation that they are talking about. Even when shit ain't got nothing to do with LeBron James, they find a way to make every conversation about LeBron James. It just is what it is. Now, to say that Laker team was better than the Miami Heat team that LeBron played for and won a title, to me, nuts. Because you could say the counsel out of AD is Chris Bosh. You could even say Bosh is not better than Anthony Davis. That Miami LeBron is better than a Laker LeBron. It ain't even close. Dwayne Wade, who is the second best player on the Lakers? Because to me, AD and Chris Bosh is a wash. LeBron is not a wash because Miami LeBron was better than Laker LeBron. You got to get to the third best player on the Lakers on that team. Who would you say that was? Kyle Kuzma, Dwight Howard coming off of the bench at times. And I understand he started at center at times, but who? Alex Caruso? Like, who would you say was better than Dwayne Wade next? And then who would you say is better than Ray Allen after that? Who would you now, I understand you would say it's better offensive players than Shane Battier. But Shane Battier served a very crucial role being able to shoot the three and defend at a high level. So, I understand people want to say, man, I can't stand Laker fans. They be saying crazy stuff. Yo, that's LeBron's stance, okay? Calm down. But back to Team USA. So wrapping up the Kawhi conversation, and the next thing I want to talk about with Team USA is this Joel Embiid hate that I'm not understanding at all. Joel Embiid chose to play for America, Team USA, because he grew up here. He lived here his whole life, basically, from what I've read. For some reason, dudes who probably still living in their mom's crib. I don't know if it's the basement. I don't know if they live on the first floor, second floor, an outhouse. They probably still living on mom's dime. These are miserable people. For the ones who ain't living on mommy's dime, they are still miserable people. I don't want to judge. I don't want to, put you in a box. Some of you might still pay your own rent and still are miserable individuals. For one, what I can't understand is why the fuck does it matter who Joel Embiid plays for? Because clearly he wouldn't be able to play for Team USA if he didn't qualify to play for Team USA. That's the first thing. So it's not like Joel Embiid is breaking some laws or anything like that. Also, if the man spent the majority, if not all of his life in America, why would he choose to play for any other team 3, again, why do you care? How is Joel Embiid playing for Team USA stopping you from doing your job on a daily basis? How is that stopping you from enjoying watching the game? How is that stopping you from putting food on your table? Like, I don't understand some of these issues. And I understand as a sports fan having certain issues with things. I get that. Why is this one of those things that people have an issue with? I'm starting to realize the bigotry, the ignorance, the just complete buffoonery of people just comes out every day. And I understand that some of these dudes, a lot of these dudes who get on these social medias and talk crazy about these athletes and whatnot, I understand they probably middle schoolers, high schoolers, but at some point in time, you would imagine is somebody raising these motherfuckers to be a little bit more respectful, to not. And it's really alarming when you see that it's grown ass adults who also act and talk like this also. Like, it's very strange. I done seen some of the most disgusting things be said about Joel Embiid because he chose to play for Team USA from American men. Let me put it like that also. Women ain't got shit to do with this. Young American men, for some reason, have a problem with Joel Embiid playing for Team USA. So the only thing that they've done this entire run so far is bitch about every little thing Joel Embiid does. That's the only thing they've done. And this is why I always say I feel for athletes and people in these positions because they ask for the money to take care of their families. They never ask for the spotlight. Now, some of them do, and some of them did. But a lot of them just wanted to play basketball or their sport. And a lot of you people who say that you work harder than them or they don't work hard, they've been given this. Everybody who pick up a ball does not make it pro. Everybody who hits a tennis ball or picks up a racket don't make it pro. Everybody who slings a pigskin or decides to catch it or defend the action being done by it does not make it pro. To question their commitment and their work ethic towards getting something, even if they had a parent that was an athlete. I see y'all dog LeBron James kids online all the time. Y'all got no problem dogging other people's kids. I noticed that. But let somebody say something about y'all kids. I find it very disturbing how easy it is for how Twitter is a space and social media has become spaces for people to just be the worst type of human beings imaginable. And it's no coincidence that a lot of these accounts that say some of this vile shit, they usually don't have themselves as a profile picture. They usually have some weird ass cartoon or some weird ass profile picture. And they got no pictures of themselves on other internet. They just get on the internet and say some of the most vile, disturbing things. And I guess that's just how this country is headed. But, you know, to me, maybe I'm just soft, but to me it's very disturbing, and I just don't understand the reason. How is Joel Embiid playing for Team USA bothering you this much to where you have to get online, you wake up every day to go say hateful things and send him hateful messages and tweet at him hateful things? What does that do for you? Like I said, I don't understand the problem with Joel Embiid playing for Team USA because he can play for Team USA. He done grew up in America, been here his whole life. But for some reason, dudes who ain't never played in the NBA a day in their life, who don't make NBA decisions, who got far other things that should be more important to them in life right now, bugging out over Joel Embiid playing for Team USA. I don't understand how people can get to this point in life to where things like this bother them to this extent. It's absolutely insanity to me. I really don't understand it. And in a sense, and this gonna sound weird, because of how much like just ruthless, disrespectful, heartless shit I've been seeing said about Joel Embiid, for some reason I just been feeling bad for him. Because I'm like, bro, what if this man get online every day and see this shit? Do you know what that do to a person? Do you know what that can do to a person? Your words hurt. Even if a person don't know you. I keep telling y'all, when you send people, when an athlete, if you're a regular human being, you might get you might get 20 people come at you on Twitter out of the year that say something negative directly at you. And it might be because of something you said, like a comment they didn't like or something. At no point in time do you get the amount of hateful tweets that an athlete gets? And I know people are like, well, they get good tweets. They should focus on the good tweets. Do you understand? Matter of fact, you couldn't understand it. Now, it's very easy for some people to understand it because some people have empathy, meaning they can understand other situations, not having to have been in that situation. But I understand there's some people who just can't get themselves to that point. So they're like, I can't understand how somebody who makes so much money can let words hurt them from broke people. And I'm just here to tell you, money has nothing to do with mental things. Okay? How words affect somebody mentally, money can't do shit about that. It can't. How words and the way the sentences people form to come at you, how those hit you when you read them, money can't fix that. You could be as rich as you want to be. People kill themselves from depression all the time. And we done heard about rich people who end their lives because of depression. That's the type of shit that trigger it. You don't think it's the celebrities out here and athletes out here who killed themselves from depression who didn't get a whole bunch of love and adulation from fans? But for some reason, when you get on Twitter, when you get on social media, the things that's highlighted the most is the hate. The people, I saw a tweet where Coleman for the Bills was asking how did he sign this contract. He didn't know which way he signed it. That's a legitimate question for somebody who's never been in a situation where he had to sign a contract for a lot of money. He wanted to make sure he did it right rather than just signing it and messing up. Somebody quote tweeted it and said, they laughing because they think he playing, but Buddy really retarded. That's what the tweet said. And a whole bunch of people liked it and was in the comment section saying, yeah, Buddy a real dumbass. Yeah, Buddy really stupid. Like, Buddy really being laughed at. Like, and I'm just like, what have to happen in your life for you to get to this point where the first thing that you think of when you see anything is to say something hateful? And people always, you know, the weird thing that I'm seeing nowadays is people be like, oh, we just joking. I don't think some of you motherfuckers understand how jokes work. Usually motherfuckers laugh at the joke. Usually jokes are not to be mean-spirited. Just because you think it made you laugh calling somebody that, how is that? Like, y'all got a wicked sense of humor. Y'all call people soft. Really, I just think y'all wasn't raised right. You was raised with no empathy, with no love, no care. That's why you hate everybody. And you disguise it as jokes because you don't want people to hop on your ass and tell you about yourself for real. Because you obviously won't take a look in the mirror and tell yourself about yourself. So you hide it with jokes, but really, you're just a hateful, miserable person. We say things and do things to people that we would never want to happen to people that we love. Because I understand some people could care less about themselves, and I even understand there's people who could care less about other people. But for most people, it's somebody out there that you love, and if they was ever treated the way you treat and talk to people, you spaz out. But it's okay for you to do that to somebody else's child, to somebody else's mother, father, daughter, son, cousin, brother. Like, it's crazy to me. It's crazy. But I hope Joel Embiid got a strong system, a strong support system around him. I have no problem with people talking about Joel Embiid if it comes to on the court. Some of the things that he did when he was young, he don't even do that no more. Like some of the problems people had with him before, and this problem that every broke person seem to have with any person having any type of confidence in themselves and speaking on it, y'all just gotta go get therapy because that's a you problem, not a them problem. That's not them not being humble. That's not them being cocky. That's you having an internal problem that you haven't went and got fixed yet. But I'm happy that Joel Embiid is playing for Team USA. Because Joel Embiid is a big body, and when Joel Embiid is healthy, it's nobody in the NBA that can stop Joel Embiid except for Joel Embiid. Having him and AD play off, like coming in and at least having 2 quarters apiece basically to play, I love it. I think, for one, Anthony Davis done said multiple times, he don't like playing the center position. He don't even want to play the center position. So to have Joel Embiid there, a real center who wants to play the center position, is key. So, and plus, you know, it's a lot of things people say about Joel Embiid. But you cannot deny is that Joel Embiid is one of the best big men in NBA history. He can defend, he can score at a very high level for both. Protects the rim, has post moves, can shoot, the 3 and the mid-range, can shoot free throws. Got an entire package of things he a creative player, basically. The only problem with Joel Embiid is you wish he could stay a little bit more healthy, which I truly feel like would happen if he decided to lose some weight to take all that off of his knees. Nonetheless, outside of his injury issues, Joel Embiid is a phenomenal player. Team USA is lucky to have Joel Embiid decide to play for Team USA. That makes Team USA that much better. The nerds and the losers and the miserable individuals at home typing on the keyboard, gangsters, typing online hateful things at Joel Embiid, at some point in time in your life, it ain't going to be enough for you to wake up and hate on people. Eventually, you're going to have to go out there and do something. Just think about that. Anyways, moving on. Because another thing with Team USA, Jaylen Brown did not make the roster after Kawhi Leonard left. Instead, Derek White made the roster. Now, I understand the uproar immediate. Now, that when they was talking about Nike and all that shit with Nike, I could care less about that. I'm not even finna sit here and try to discuss something that I have no clue or care in the world about. What Nike have to do or have not to do with him making it, I could care less. I'm focusing on the players and what they could do for Team USA and why one did or didn't make the roster. I could care less about the Nike shit. I'm just go ahead and get that out the way. But I get the uproar of people saying Jaylen Brown just won Finals MVP. He should be on Team USA. I get you saying that. However, I don't really agree with it. I understand that being like a retort. Like, yo, he just won the Finals MVP. He should make the team. And while I understand why that would be something that you feel like should get him on the team, I don't agree that that's something that should have gotten him on the team. For one, I don't even think that he should have won Finals MVP. I said that before. It's nothing against Jaylen Brown. I just don't think, I was having a conversation with my cousin the other night. And I so strong, because he feel like Jaylen Brown should have made the roster over Derek White also. But I said, why? What does he do that Derek White don't do? Derek White is actually the better defender. Even if you think marginally, he'd have been the better defender. They both shoot the 3. They both basically play the same way, aside from Derek White play better off the ball. Jaylen Brown is more of an ISO player. Do I think Jaylen Brown couldn't adjust to playing for Team USA? No, because he found a way to adjust. He have to adjust playing with, well, he don't really have to adjust playing with the Celtics because him and Jason Tatum know they getting the ball. So actually, in that instance, I do feel like Derek White would be better because it's Jaylen Brown who just won Finals MVP. Is he going to be okay coming off the bench? Is he going to be okay not playing big minutes? Is he going to be okay when the ball not getting to him all the time like it do if he were a Celtic? Compared to Derek White having to play that role. Because here's the reality. If Jaylen Brown did play for Team USA and he had to play the Derek White role that Derek White playing right now, all people would do is bitch and complain about it. That's all people would do. This is why I don't listen to fans. Fans just like to argue. It's like I said about Caitlin Clark. If she hadn't made the roster, people would have bitched and complained that she didn't play enough minutes. She didn't make the roster. People bitched and complained that she should have made the roster. You cannot win when you are dealing with these moronic ass fans. Jaylen Brown make the roster. It's all. How can a Finals MVP not play a lot of minutes? If he don't make the rosters, how can a Finals MVP not make the roster? You can't win. The reality is, him winning the Finals MVP, as important as that is for him, the Celtics, his career, that ain't got shit to do with Team USA. Sure, you can make an argument Jaylen Brown is better than Porzingis, Derek White. I guess you can make an argument slightly he better than Drew Holiday. I would still take Drew Holiday over him. And I don't think it's an argument at all that he better than Tatum. I actually am irritated by the fact that people continuously try to argue that he is the better player. Jaylen Brown does not do anything better than Jason Tatum. Anything. He ain't a better passer. He ain't a better dribbler. He ain't a better floor general. He ain't a better rebounder. He ain't a better defender. He ain't a better scorer. He don't do shit better than Jason Tatum. But because Jason Tatum, you feel or people feel is not as consistent as he should be, people for some reason, or maybe it ain't even that. Maybe it's just simply because Jason Tatum, you feel like didn't have as good as a playoff run or finals as Jaylen Brown. Even though I'd argue He had just as good a finals as Jaylen Brown. The problem to me is people have dumbed basketball down to scoring. That's the only stat people care about. Like, I was arguing with somebody the other day who was like, the disrespect that people done said about Angel Reese is crazy, but he was comparing Angel Reese to like a low-tier big man in the NBA and comparing him, saying that's like comparing him to like Michael Jordan. And I'm like, I understand, because I'm a fan of Caitlin Clark also. But outside of Caitlin Clark's ability to score, which she haven't even been the greatest scorer, the scorer she was in college, she has not been in the WNBA. That's just a factual statement. She done become more of a Steve Nash type of player. Outside of the score, the shooting and the assists, what does she do better than Angel Reese? Angel Reese is the better rebounder and the better defender. And better in a lot of the other areas. So I don't understand this notion that, oh, Caitlin Clark is so much better than Angel Reese. If you like the game of shooting the threes and that type of style, I get why you prefer to watch Angel Reese prefer to watch Caitlin Clark over Angel Reese. But saying that Caitlin Clark is just this, like, I keep seeing people say shit like, I didn't see Michael Jordan, but I'm not going to miss Caitlin Clark. Bro, Caitlin Clark has not been anywhere near a Jordan-esque type player since being in the WNBA. You can keep yelling at me, oh, she do this for the league, she do that for the league, she do this for the league. I'm talking about the results on the court, my boy. But again, this is not that video. I'm here to talk about the Olympics. But jumping back to topic when it comes to the Olympics or the Celtics. Well, it's the Olympics and the Celtics because we're talking about Jaylen Brown. But when I look at the Jaylen Brown situation, I say to myself, who would you take him over right now on this Olympic roster? It's at least for, hear me out. First off, the starters. Curry, Braun, KD, Embiid, Drew Holiday. I don't need Jaylen Brown or want Jaylen Brown over any of those five. AD, Tyrese Halliburton, Anthony Edwards. I don't want him over none of them. Now, I'm not telling you that Jaylen Brown's not a good player. I think Jaylen Brown is a good player. Now, I don't think Jaylen Brown is as good as some people make him out to be. But I do think he is a good player. But when I look at the roster for Team USA, it's nobody who I really need to take off of this roster in order for Jaylen Brown to be on this roster. I don't think Jaylen Brown's talent demands me, oh, he should make that. Like, Jason Tatum should be on this roster. His talent demands that. I do not think that Jaylen Brown's talent is that of Jason Tatum's, or for that matter, there might be one or two players on this roster who you could argue, like Derek White, maybe Tyrese Halliburton. It's a few guys on the roster, maybe less than a handful, that you could argue Jaylen Brown over. So I really honestly believe the people who was making a big, mind you, I also want to say this. Speaking about Jaylen Brown, the same people who got, because Joel Embiid had just did an interview where he said he don't play for a super team. The same people who was calling the Celtics a super team got mad at Joel Embiid for calling them a super team also. This is why I can't do fans, bro. Pause. This is why I can't deal with fans. Just fucking retarded. But, see? Anyways. The Jaylen Brown situation, to me, was just blown out of proportion. It was just blown out of proportion. Like, him being left off of this roster, I also think Kyrie being left off the roster was not a big deal. It ain't. I'm going to be honest with you. They backup point guard play is far. If I'm thinking about somebody being left off the roster, I'm thinking to myself, the roster has a huge hole that could have been filled by said person that's not on the roster. That is not the situation for Team USA. Kyrie, Jaylen Brown, any other player who you feel like should have made the roster and didn't, Team USA is not hurting without that player. If Team USA lose, it's going to be because Team USA played bad, not because they got holes in this roster. So that's my argument as to why I don't feel like Jaylen Brown was snubbed off of Team USA, or why Kyrie should have made Team USA and they snubbed. I don't believe any of that. I believe that the people who should have made Team USA are on Team USA, and Team USA will be fine. Now, let's hop over to the NFL. We got some NFL to talk about. The New York Jets. You know what? Actually, do I? Yeah, we'll start off with the Jets. I'm still deciding in my head if I'm gonna talk about that other topic or if I'm gonna turn that one into its own show. But, anyways, speaking on the New York Jets, you know they got some things going on with them right now. They haven't got Hassan Reddick not showing up to camp because he doesn't. You know what I don't understand about the Jets? Why would you trade for Hassan Reddick, a superstar who I don't know if you want to call him superstar, but to me, Hassan Reddick is a stud pass rusher. Why would you trade for a big money pass rusher who you know is about to become a free agent and is going to demand a big contract? Why would you trade for him and not sign him to that contract? Why would you trade for him knowing you weren't going to sign him to that contract? Now, maybe they are going to sign him to the contract, but if they don't, I don't understand this at all. This is absolutely, I don't understand trading for a player who is about to become a free agent and who was going to hold out for his original team because he wanted a new contract. The only reason you would ever trade for a player like that is because you know you're going to resign or you're going to give said player the contract, but you haven't. And so now he's not showing up. And that hurts him. You might say, like, because I know a lot of fans go, that's hurting him. That's going to hurt the team also. And that's not on Hassan Reddick because he put his body through a lot to go out there and play. So he should have the contract that he feel like he is worth and that security. I have no problem with Hassan Reddick holding out, just like I have no problem with CeeDee Lamb holding out. Now, before we hop to CeeDee Lamb, Aaron Rodgers was talking about, the things that don't lead to winning in the Jets camp should be cut out and yada, yada, yada. I said this, shows ago, shows in the past where I said, I got no problem with Aaron Rodgers. I know it's a lot of people out there who don't really. Aaron Rodgers not that real cup of tea. And the more and more I hear Aaron Rodgers talk, the more and more I'm starting to understand why people have that feeling towards Aaron Rodgers. But I still try to keep it within the realms of football, even though Aaron Rodgers make it very hard. Because Aaron Rodgers like to talk about people paying him so much attention and worried about everything. But Aaron Rodgers likes to broadcast and talk about the things he does also. So, it's a weird little dynamic. Like I said, he act like a fan. His mind seemed to work the way fans' minds work, except for the difference between him and fans. Well, no, because fans think they the smartest motherfuckers in the world too, as does Aaron Rodgers. So, that was a comparison I did not expect to make when I was planning out the show. But nonetheless, Aaron Rodgers is an interesting cat to me because, the last year he had, and you know what I find interesting? Aaron Rodgers, last time he started, was not a good season. I think he threw for 300 yards like one time. Now, a person like me could give two fucks about a 300-yard passing game. Especially when I know you're a competent enough passer to win a game with your passing. I'm not, these gaudy numbers that people want to chase because people play a lot of Madden and people want to see a lot of these gaudy numbers. I care less about that. Long as it come down to winning. Aaron Rodgers did not play winning football his last season in Green Bay. Now, you could say, well, he lost Devontae. Don't we look at Aaron Rodgers as a top-tier quarterback? Is there no expectation he should be able to lift the players on that team and get them to the playoffs? Because I'm listening to people tear up Lamar Jackson, and he done played with less than receivers his whole career, and he done raised their level of play and got them to the playoffs. Aaron Rodgers has failed in the playoffs for the last couple years. I never hear nobody talk about it. People live off of that Super Bowl he won years ago, and that felt like, a decade plus ago it felt like he won that Super Bowl. And I always hear people say it's time to update your resume, but I guess that only applies for guys like Dak Prescott, Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray. I guess that only applies for those type of players because I'm not seeing anybody tell Aaron Rodgers that, coincidentally. His last year in Green Bay, you go back, you look at that season. I prefer you to look at the season, not the numbers, but you can look at the numbers too because they weren't Aaron Rodgers-like numbers. But nonetheless, if you go back and watch the season, Aaron Rodgers struggled through that season. And I think the biggest reason that they struggled is because Aaron Rodgers wanted to be Aaron Rodgers. It was a report that had came out that said Aaron Rodgers told Matt LaFleur he is not running the football. If they lose, it's going to be off his arm. And so LaFleur just allowed Aaron Rodgers to keep doing Aaron Rodgers type things, which has been one of my biggest things on the show when we talk football is Matt LaFleur was not allowed to be Matt LaFleur when he was coaching Aaron Rodgers. He had to be Aaron Rodgers' head coach and let Aaron Rodgers do whatever the fuck he wanted to. Once he left, you can see the difference in the offense with Matt LaFleur. Like, if you can't, to me, it is what it is. It's just like Dennis Rodman said. I saw Dennis Rodman made a comment where he was like, Steve Kerr not coaching them boys. He just sitting back watching them shoot. It's funny that people like taking shots at Steve Kerr because if Mark Jackson was a great coach to people, I don't understand how you can then say Steve Kerr wasn't. Because Steve Kerr had the coaches that Mark Jackson had. But you like to say, oh, well, they was a little bit more mature. They won the first year Mark Jackson was no longer there and Steve Kerr was there. The first year Steve Kerr stepped in, they won. But somehow he a bad head coach and Mark Jackson is a great head coach. But Mark Jackson never won a champ. Didn't even get them to a championship with the talent he had. In my opinion, Mark Jackson underachieved the longer his tenure went with the Warriors. Because it didn't take the Warriors long under Mark Jackson to fit. And you know what else is interesting to me? How can you not say the Warriors was getting started before Mark Jackson, but you can say they was getting started before Steve Kerr? It's funny how we pick and choose the people that we like. How we don't keep it even down the middle. It's very interesting to me. Nonetheless, like I was saying, when you look at Aaron Rodgers in the last, basically was hurt on the first drive of the game with the Jets, missed all last season. Last year with the Packers was not the greatest of years. He's dealt with injuries as a Packer. So what you really hope for if you're a Jets fan, to get Hassan Reddick signed and to get Aaron Rodgers through a full season healthy and hope, because the Jets have weapons. I saw the reports that said the Jets could go after Devontae Adams. I don't see that happening because what you have to give up to get Devontae, but then again, who knows what they'd end up having to give up. Sometimes people give up a lot. Sometimes they give up little to nothing to make trades in this league for players. So who knows what they would actually have to give up. But I'm operating from the standpoint that they don't have Devontae Adams. And to be completely honest with you, they don't need Devontae Adams. They have good enough pieces on that offense. And if Aaron Rodgers is the player that we think, if he is still the quarterback, if he is still a quarterback that can be a quarterback that can make a difference for his team, that can up the level of play, then the Jets should be fine. You don't have the Buffalo Bills. While I think the Buffalo Bills will still be a good team, it's not going to be as easy for them as it's been when you have a Stephon Diggs. The Patriots are going to be ass more than likely this year. We don't even know who their quarterback's going to be starting. And then you got Miami, and I believe Miami is going to be a good team. But outside of that, you should still, if Aaron Rodgers is who a lot of people say he is, if we still believe him to be a high-level quarterback, to me, the Jets should be a playoff team. They got the talent. They got the defense. They got the players on offense. Aaron Rodgers should have been that missing piece, as people have said for multiple years with the Jets. They just need a quarterback. They just need a quarterback. So if that's the case, then Aaron Rodgers should be able to get it done this year. But aside from the on-the-field stuff, though, I do find it funny that Aaron Rodgers always got something to complain about or some gripe with something. I know the Packers got to be happy as fuck. Life without Aaron Rodgers, dead ass, got to be a movie for them. Like, they got to feel like every day without him is a movie. Just based off of how annoying this motherfucker is since leaving the Packers, bro. Or really since his last year with the Packers when he started really being on the Pat McAfee show and getting into controversy damn near every week, yo. Like, I know for that locker room, for those players, for the coaches, for the owner, they just breathe a sigh. Well, not the owner, but the GM, because there's no owner. The people is the owner still, I believe. But I just know everybody in that building just breathe a sigh of relief every day. Like, they're not walking on eggshells. They're not worried about pissing Aaron Rodgers off. They're not worried about saying the wrong thing to Aaron Rodgers today. They're not worrying about this color. He might not like my shirt today. He might get offended by my shirt. He might get offended by how I say his name. I mean, my goodness. Aaron Rodgers might be a piece of work, man. He might be, but I don't know this man. So I can only go off of the things I've seen in the media. He was a damn good football player. So if he can get back to that, nobody in New York gonna give a fuck about none of that other shit that Aaron Rodgers brings to the table. Now, speaking of the Packers, a lot of people are asking, does Jordan Love deserve the $300 million plus that he possibly could be signing for soon? And my response to that would be, we got to stop asking that question. Because we have already established it does not matter if a quarterback deserves to be the highest paid. If a team feel like that's the quarterback for their franchise and that they don't have a better option in the near future or immediate future, rather, then they're going to sign that dude. It just is what it is. We saw the Giants give Daniel Jones an extension, and Daniel Jones ain't never a time in his career played like a franchise quarterback. It's very rare that you see teams make smart decisions like the Browns, where they pick up Baker's option, but they like, we don't know if we're going to give you an extension. They make him work for it. He didn't earn it. They let him go off. Now, granted, an average to below average quarterback, Baker Mayfield, a.k.a. Baker Midfield, really is Baker Midfield, a.k.a. Baker Mayfield. Obviously, in the NFL, mediocrity for a white man is nothing new, so he could still sign and be a mediocre white quarterback and get a decent, great payday with Tampa. So, no shocker there. This is why I always get frustrated when I see a motherfucker like Emmanuel Acho, who always got something crazy to say about Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott. Just really any quarterback he got something crazy to say about or fight back against them about. But he'll go to bat for Baker Mayfield every day of the week. You can't make this type of shit up. And these are the people who is talking about sports. These is who the people you choose to place your faith. This is who the media wants you to listen to. Motherfuckers who's on here dick riding for Baker Mayfield, the first pick in the draft, but constantly going at Lamar, Herbert. I got my gripes about Herbert. But you think I'm finna go at Herbert and be defending Baker Mayfield, bruh? And he loves to hit you with the Baker Mayfield got 2 playoff wins. Ben Roethlisberger did more to win that game for the Browns than Baker Mayfield did to win the game for the Browns or that game he won against the Eagles. Because the Eagles defense, hell, I'm at the point where they could have took some of them old motherfuckers off of ESPN and put them out there and the Eagles would have gave up a score. I ain't never seen tackling that bad in a game in my life. Unless I'm looking at this new NCAA 25 football game, which to me might be one of the worst football games I've seen in my existence. The fact that nostalgia has taken over, and I get it. Some people just absolutely cannot fight off nostalgia. So nostalgia is going to make you say a lot of stuff. I done seen channels on YouTube that's been hypercritical of Madden, but giving all the passes in the world to this NCAA game just because of nostalgia. We haven't had it in a minute. It's fun. Listen, as somebody who played the fuck out of Madden years ago, I don't play Madden anymore. Somebody who was a very high tier Madden player. Like, I wasn't just no average Madden player. I was a high level Madden player, which is what was disgusting once the game started to go into what it was going into. Less about skill base and more of glitches, broken plays, broken mechanics, bad AI, defense being nerfed so that you can be better offensively and score a lot of points. It was just a lot of different things. And then obviously they stopped really caring about the game and started caring more about MUT Team rather than anything else in the game. So it's a number of reasons I stopped playing Madden. However, as somebody who played Madden as long as I did, to say that this NCAA game is a better game than some of the worst Maddens to me is insane. This is an arcade game. The one thing you're going to learn about Saint don't like arcade games. Saint does not like arcade style games. If I'm playing a game, well, let me put it like this. If I'm playing an arcade game, which is very rare that I play any type of arcade-y style game, then that game is going to be more about having fun than it necessarily is about winning. You understand what I'm saying? So that would be a game, if it's heavily arcadey, that's a game I'm playing with friends to have a good time. I promise you that's not a game I'm playing in any type of competitive way because I don't like arcadey type games because arcadey games rely too heavily on animations. I do not like animation heavy games, and arcade games specifically rely heavily, almost exclusively, on ridiculous animations. And that's exactly what NCAA 25 is. Listen, I understand people who are critical of Madden. There's a lot of things to be critical about in Madden. They haven't fixed franchise. It feels like they haven't touched franchise in like a decade plus. I grew up in an era where you could create your own franchises on Madden. You could create the stadiums, the jersey. And I'm not talking about just picking from a slate of stadiums. I'm talking about legitimately create stadiums, create the end zone, how it looked, the fans, like the statues in the stadium. Like it was a lot of different things you could do in Madden, none of which you can really do now. They do this little dumbass thing about scouting. I always laugh when people give Madden a pass for having scouting in the game. Why the fuck do I care about scouting fake players? I'm probably going to edit them and turn them into fake homies that I know anyways. So why does scouting matter? You can make anybody a 99 in your franchise. Scouting should not matter. That is not a thing that should matter in a franchise. In a franchise mode, the jerseys, the players, like feeling like you are truly running an organization should matter, with different type of things to do in franchise mode. That is not that is so I understand that complaint when people say Madden franchise is trash. Madden used to have this little draft mode on the game that they took out basically, and they changed it for this new little goofy ass game mode they got now. But the only reason I don't go, I think it's called Superstar KO now, but it used to be like a little mini draft type of game mode before. That was far better a game mode than, somebody told me that they got that shit inside a MUT team now. That's tragic. People who complain about not even complaining. I don't want to say complaining, because complaining is when you have absolutely no reason to be bitching about what you bitching about. That's complaining. To me, when people got legitimate gripes, it's hard for me to call that complaining. You know what I'm saying? Like if the pizza was great and your only issue was that it was too hot, that's complaining. But if I'm playing a game and it's broken mechanics all through the game and I state, oh man, you gotta do something about these mechanics, that's not complaining. That's addressing a legitimate issue. That's why I say I think some of y'all is that strong R. You know, y'all the capital R word, bro, because this is stuff you should have just learned in school, yo. The difference between complaining and addressing a legitimate issue with something. Like it feel like a lot of English classes and literacy classes and speaking classes and things of that nature was just skipped over for a lot of people. Comprehension, critical thinking. It just seems as though y'all was told to read books in class and just, you don't have to tell us what you read. We don't care if you comprehended the words you just read. It could just been word soup to you. As long as you read it, that's cool. I'm starting to see some of y'all just got passed. Like they didn't actually care about your grades, your scores. They just passed you. Because this level of not critically thinking about things is insane. Insane to me. Nonetheless, I understand the other issues people have with Madden. Like, you can't play against your homies in a regular game mode and use legendary teams. You go to 2K, they let you use all types of legendary teams and throwback teams. I get that. I grew up in an era where I would have loved to use the Baltimore Ravens when we had Alohi Nada, Anquan Bolden, Joe Flacco, Ray Rice, Ed Reed, Terrell Suggs, Ray Lewis, all of these dudes in their primes. You don't think I would like to hop on Madden and play against the homies with a throwback Ravens team? But it's not possible to do that. The only way you can use players like Peyton Manning, Ray Lewis, Tom Brady, and guys, legends, is if you hop on MUT team and throw some money into the game to use some cards. So I get the legitimate gripes people have with Madden. But to have these problems with Madden and to not address the issues with this NCAA game, insane to me. Just because you want nostalgia and like wanting a game for so long to come back should not prevent you from being honest about the game. Like, I grew up playing NBA Live. Bro, I was hypercritical of that last NBA Live they made because it felt like an arcade game. Just way too many animations. Like, at first, I thought to myself, I don't mind being able to create a woman and her dunking on a game. But when you got 5 feet women being created, dunking from the free throw line over 3 dudes on NBA Live Online, that's where I draw the line, buddy. This is an arcade game. If I wanted to do shit like this, I'd just hook up an old system and play Street Volume 1, 2, 3. But this is supposed to be a simulation basketball game. This is some bullshit. I'd rather you not let us create the women than have these motherfuckers jumping from the free throw line. And that's not it. Having other dudes. You could create players that's 5 foot. Dudes. There's like 5'3" dunking from the free throw line over centers that's 7 foot and plus. When you create a game like that that's so heavily reliant on animations, where you know as soon as a dude start an animation, it's over from there, that's a problem for me. Especially for a person who leans so heavily into wanting games to be more skill-based in a sense of you are only as good as your skills allow you to be. You get better at the game by improving your skills, not because of stupid animations get added or taken away. A player shouldn't become a bad player because you took away or banned certain animations. Only being good because of animations is crazy to me. And I know some people be like, well, if everybody playing it, it's a whole competitive market and everybody being. But, well, to me, it just becomes a who better at the animations, who can hit the animations better, who understand which animations to hit more. That's what arcadiness is to me. And that's what NCAA 25 is to me. Not to mention my college isn't even on the game. But nonetheless, it's a lot of things that I do understand people like, and it's things in that game that's not in Madden that people are going to like. You can create a school. People going to love that about the game instantly because you can't create a football team in Madden. Madden got this little dumbass create a jersey mode in the game, which I don't understand because you really cannot create a jersey. You just try to mismatch jerseys and the styles they already have, which you can do that anyways without having to create the style. It take you no time to just switch to the jersey, the helmet, and the pants that you want without having to go create the shit or I guess create a preset of it because you ain't even creating it. So I understand the gripes people have with Madden and some of the things they let you do on the NCAA game, but I'm just thinking about core gameplay. Tackling on this game is abysmal. I done seen multiple times, not only have I played the game, but I done seen multiple clips of dudes spinning on like 3 people. The AI in this game is the capital R word. It makes no sense to me. This is an arcade game. I done seen some of the most ridiculous scores. I'm seeing people online and people on like the internet run for 300, 200 plus yards with the running back. One of my biggest problems with the game. Now, see, as somebody who played Madden extensively and who was great at Madden, I could tell you right now, I could play with any team on Madden. Sometimes if you're not having an A game, it could be a little bit harder to use the bad teams. But most of the time, I'm one of them players who good enough to where I could use a good one of the worst teams on a game and beat the dog shit out of somebody who's using one of the best teams on the game. Now, if I'm playing against a dude who is great at the game, am I going to also go there and use a bad team? No. If he is on my level of Madden skill set, then I'm probably going to use a good team or the adequate team so that it's no advantages whatsoever in ratings for the team. But if I'm playing against somebody who good or even great, but I know they nowhere near as great as me on Madden, and there's a lot of ways you can figure that out real quick, then I'm probably going to use a bad team just to, for one, I don't like hearing people bitch about, oh, well, he got a good, I don't never use the top tier teams, but for some reason, people always bitch when I use the Ravens, even though that's my team, because the defense, oh, you can't use the Ravens defense. Bro, I couldn't tell you how many complaints I used to get back in the day when I used to use the Ravens online when they had Ed Reed, Terrell Suggs, Alohi Nada, and Ray Lewis. Like, what am I supposed to do about them having all them players? That's the team I root for. I understand if I was like a Panther fan and I constantly was using the Ravens. Now, granted, that would be smart to use the better of the teams, but I don't understand this notion of getting mad at somebody for using the team that they actually root for. Like, I don't know, man. Maybe it's just me, but nonetheless, that right there is what made me start learning just how to use every team on a game, basically. Even though I really feel like in Madden, if you got a good enough playbook based off of how you play, like I'm not somebody who run RPOs. I don't run screens. I think all of that garbage is glitchy. It's times in the game where it's smart to run a smart screen. But I could tell you on one hand, I could play 5 games in Madden, and I'm probably going to throw 3 screens in those 5 games combined. Because I'm just not a screen thrower. You got different type of players in Madden. You got players who run a lot of RPOs. They run a lot of like screens, quick hitches, and things like that. That's not how I play at all. For one, I'm a very, very strong defensive player. That's the first thing. So I know how to use damn near everybody on the defensive side of the ball. And I'm not talking about just hopping on somebody and running around. No. I can do shit on defense that you'd be like, yo, this is cheat. And I ain't talking about glitches. I'm talking about just knowing how to play defense in Madden. On top of that, when I play offense, I'm not running screens and RPOs and all that shit. Because of how stupid Madden is, to me, it's just these times where you can't see who you're throwing it to. And the computer can just, with the animations in Madden, you could just glitch in front of footballs and things like. Certain plays just don't make sense in Madden. The blocking schemes and things make Madden plays bad. And I don't ever want something like that to happen where it's a 50-50 play rather than just learning. For one, my offense is vertical. I go up and down the field. It's very rare that you see me doing sideline and sideline shit unless that sideline play is gaining me like a out route or something for like 6+ yards. And I run the ball straight up the gut. There might be times where I get a little cute and go outside, but that's very dependent on how your defense is looking or what type of defense you in. But for the most part, I'm not doing a whole bunch of the goofy RPOs and shit like that. On this NCAA game, Wildcat, RPOs, and all this goofy shit, that's all I see people run. I don't know if I done seen anybody run a pro-style offense. And I know people say, well, it's college, Saint. It's multiple teams in college that run a pro-style offense. Now, while the running games on this game is not shocking to me because I understand running is a big part in college football, some of this running that I'm seeing, the animations, it's an arcade game. It's an arcade game. But if you like the game, if you love the game, keep playing that shit. Because do what makes you happy. I just ain't fucking with it. That's my thoughts on NCAA. I know you didn't ask me for it. You probably didn't even know you were going to get that. But I gave it to you. So say thank you. You're welcome. It's nothing. Now, as we come to the end of the show, I do want to talk about one more thing. I know there's been a heavy Team USA basketball show, yo, and we just talked about the Jets a little bit. Now I want to finish it off with the Dallas Cowboys. Because I decided that my Lamar Jackson talk would be for the next show. But I do want to finish this off with the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm not going to actually talk about Dak Prescott too much because I got a lot to say about. I got stuff I want to talk about with Dak, but I'm going to save it for the next show because it actually pertained with him and Lamar coinciding. So I just say that for the next show. But the Cowboys, CeeDee Lamb. This is a very interesting spot that the Cowboys is in because you got to pay CD. You're about to have to pay Dak. You're also about to have to pay Micah Parsons. And those are 3 players that you cannot afford to lose. If you are the Dallas Cowboys, who can you replace Dak Prescott with right now? And unless you have an absolutely god-awful season, you can't expect to get him a better quarterback option in the draft. So you're going to pay Dak Prescott. If you don't, and Dak got that no trade clause in his contract too, I believe. So smart man. Dak Prescott's going to get his contract, whether it be from the Cowboys or whether it be from another team. He's going to get paid. That's not the topic at hand. The topic at hand is will the Cowboys pay Dak Prescott? Because I personally believe they can't afford not to. The interesting thing is they really can't afford not to pay him, CD, or Micah Parsons because those are like your 3 best players on the team. Now I understand people always talk about, oh, you know, players get too good. They max out of the team because of their contracts. This is Dallas. One of the highest grossing franchises in sports. They can afford to pay their players. And you always knew you were going to have to pay these 3. So I'm not trying to hear none of that shit. You don't pay a running back. You don't pay running back big bucks. You let Zeke walk to get off of that contract. You didn't pay Tony Pollard. You bring Zeke back on a cheap contract, so you're not paying a running back big money. Your offensive line's most expensive pieces starting to retire, go to different teams, always hurt. I think Zach Martin like the highest paid player on that line now. You can afford to pay CD, Dak, and Micah. And if you don't, this is what's so hilarious to me. You can't use the franchise tag on all 3 of them. So that's your first problem. The second problem is you're not going to use a franchise tag on Dak Prescott. Costs way too much money. It would fuck you up to have to use a franchise tag on Dak Prescott. So you're not going to do that. You're either going to get him re-signed or he's leaving. Because to use a franchise tag on Dak would mean Micah and CD are probably both going to end up on different teams. So you're not going to do that. You're going to try to get a contract long-term worked out with Dak. That's the first thing. Now, CD or Micah could possibly get the franchise tag. It would hurt, but it wouldn't hurt like trying to put a tag on Dak Prescott. With the quarterback market, but you would have to pay Dak Prescott that 1 year. Oh, my God. But if you are the Cowboys, and, you know, I had somebody talk to me the other day because I'm around a lot of Cowboy fans, and they was talking about who they prioritize. And it's obviously, for me, I'm always going to say you got to prioritize the quarterback. But in this situation, to me, it's 1A, 1B, 1C. To me, it's not first, second, third, yo. To me, all of these is dudes that should be prioritized. These is not average players. These is not like okay players that's easy to replace. This is one of the best receivers in the league, one of the best defenders in the league, and a top 10 quarterback in the league. And to be quite frank with you, the quarterback being top 10 really don't fucking matter. The fact that you can't replace the quarterback, regardless if you feel like Dak is top 10, top 20, bottom, whatever, they can't replace him. So that in there is the insurance for him. For Micah and for CD, their insurance is, yeah, we can be replaced because people seem to replace defenders and receivers all the time. However, we specifically are going to be hard for you to replace because we are top at our positions. Now, you might not feel Dak Prescott is top 5 at his position like these other two are. But the quarterback market work a little bit different. The quarterback position, rather, works a lot different. I don't give a damn if I'm a top 5 quarterback. Obviously, Baker Mayfield got paid. You think Dak not? So, the Cowboys are in a very intriguing situation. A very intriguing situation. I'm interested to see how that plays out. But, with that being said, it feels so good to be back. It feels so good to be back. And we are back. Videos are about to start coming back out regularly. So I appreciate you for joining me on another episode of Kicking It with Saint. Tell somebody you fuck with him. Tell somebody you love him. You can be anything in the world. So choose to be kind to somebody today. Like, subscribe, share. Saint out.
You find yourself alone, riding in green fields with the sun on your face. Do not be troubled. Brothers, what we do in life echoes in eternity.
I got the moves like hot sauce. Lil' mama taking the top off. I'm laying down getting topped off. After this, she know she getting knocked off. I know she loving the money, so I keep on thumbing and thumbing. She say she horny when she taking shots, so I keep them coming and coming. Now I'm putting dick in her tummy, scoop her up like I'm raking her something. You would think shawty red track, the way that she running and running. You getting dumber and dumber. You out here chasing the bone. After she finished from giving me dome, the Uber is taking her home. Tight.